The 47th president vowed to restore American jobs. What he didn't mention was that those jobs are heading to Canada. While he boasts of victories, Ford ramps up production in Ontario, Tesla recruits in Quebec, and Coca-Cola moves its bottling operations far from U.S. soil. American workers, meanwhile, are left watching factories close and production lines fall silent. This isn't a show of strength. It's a capitulation dressed in patriotic rhetoric and a red cap. So why is this self-styled deal-making genius losing the trust of the very corporations he swore to champion? And how long will we keep ignoring the obvious? 2 years into Trump's second term, the U.S. industrial machine is faltering, not due to a lack of skill or drive, but because political and economic policies are pushing companies to leave. The trouble begins with tariffs. In June 2025, the Trump administration hiked steel and aluminum tariffs to a staggering 50%, up from the already burdensome 25% set in 2018. This decision sent ripples across industries dependent on imported metals, from beverage cans to car manufacturers. Now, every aluminum can or engine component carries a cost inflated by policy, not market dynamics. A July 2025 Boston Consulting Group report estimates these tariffs will add over $50 billion in yearly costs to U.S. manufacturers, doubling the impact of prior tariffs. Across all sectors, the economic toll could hit $100 billion by the end of the year. This isn't about staying competitive, it's about staying afloat. As U.S. companies grapple with tariff pressures, they're also hit by rising energy costs. Since 2022, U.S. electricity prices have climbed 12 to 13%. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, average residential rates jumped from 15.04 cents per kilowatt hour in 2021 to 17.11 cents in early 2025. Industrial rates have followed a similar trajectory. By contrast, Canadian provinces like Quebec provide electricity at nearly half the price, with industrial rates between 6.5 and 6.9 cents per kilowatt hour. A massive cost advantage when scaled across large manufacturing operations. The savings are undeniable. Companies simply can't afford to stay. Beyond cost, it's about time and bureaucracy. In the U.S., major projects face permitting delays averaging 4.5 years. Per a National Association of Manufacturers study from early 2025, lawsuits, labor conflicts, and zoning disputes pile on like weights on a sinking ship. Meanwhile, Ontario and Quebec have streamlined processes, approving industrial projects in under 18 months. Canada's federal government sweetens the deal with funding for EV, clean tech, and high-efficiency manufacturing. The final blow? The irony of America. First, policies meant to safeguard U.S. jobs are instead driving them away by making production costlier and more complex. These measures inadvertently push American firms to relocate north, where operations are cheaper, faster, and more stable. American consumers are now drinking soda from Canadian cans and driving trucks assembled in Ontario, often without realizing it. This isn't just a statistic, it's personal. The longer this continues, the more U.S. jobs vanish, not due to global competition, but because of Washington's own policies. The crisis isn't looming, it's here. Let's explore real-world cases showing how major U.S. brands are quietly shifting jobs and production to Canada, leaving consumers caught in the crossfire. Coca-Cola has subtly shifted its operations. As of 2025, roughly 70 to 80% of its aluminum cans in North America are made in Brampton, Ontario, not Georgia. The 50% aluminum tariffs imposed in mid-2025 made U.S. can production nearly impossible. Now, trucks loaded with Canadian-made soda cross the U.S.-Canada border daily, supplying states like New York, Ohio, and Michigan. Every can you open may bear Canada's manufacturing mark, despite the iconic red and white logo. Ford Super Duty pickups tell a similar story. In 2026, Ford announced its Oakville, Ontario plant will serve as the North American hub for these high-demand trucks. This shift is backed by a $590 million investment from Canadian federal and provincial governments to divert production from costly U.S. plants. Ford's U.S. facilities in Kentucky and Ohio are stretched thin, unable to meet demand. Ford has also invested $3 billion to expand Oakville's capacity, adding 100,000 Super Duty units starting in 2026. The Made in USA trucks in your driveway might actually hail from Canada. In the EV sector, Tesla's critical 4680 battery cells, essential for its next generation vehicles, are now produced by Hybar in Markham, Ontario. Canada's faster approvals, low-cost electricity, and stable EV policies outshine the regulatory and union hurdles at Tesla's Nevada Gigafactory. Similarly, GM and South Korea's POSCO Future M are building a $600 million Canadian dollar cathode material plant in Bécancour, Quebec, supported by nearly $300 million in Canadian government funding. Set to open in early 2025, this plant will supply GM's Ultium battery line for the Silverado EV and other models, bypassing U.S. tariffs by sourcing components from Canada. This isn't outsourcing, it's a strategic retreat driven by hostile U.S. policy. Landscape, from aluminum cans to heavy-duty trucks and EV infrastructure, Canada is becoming North America's manufacturing hub. Iconic U.S. industrial cities like Flint, Michigan, and Lima, Ohio, are losing more than factories. They're losing their identity, jobs, and supply chains. The Made in USA label on your fridge or truck may now be more aspiration than reality. The real work is happening north of the border. In Flint, Michigan, once GM's proud heartland, nearly 1,200 auto-related jobs vanished between 2022 and 2025 per Michigan Department of Technology, Management, and Budget data. Many of those workers haven't returned to manufacturing, instead taking retail, part-time logistics, or rideshare jobs without benefits or stability. One former GM worker now earns less than half his 2021 income working overnight warehouse shifts while managing his daughter's medical bills with reduced insurance. In Lima, Ohio, plant closures have left a skills gap, with younger workers leaving and older ones stranded, unemployed, and undertrained. This isn't just about economics. It's about families struggling to survive in towns hit hard by the shift to Canada. Join us for the next segment where we explore how this industrial migration is redefining Made in USA. Step into the subtle revolution reshaping what it means to buy American. It's not just factories moving, America is losing core industries to Canada because U.S. policies and costs don't align with 2025's global realities. The USMCA trade deal, meant to ensure zero tariffs across North America, has made Canada a manufacturing magnet while the U.S. imposes heavy duties. Despite a temporary exemption looming, 25% tariffs on non-USMCA auto parts and proposed 35% levies starting August 1st have rattled markets. Canada, meanwhile, offers generous EV investment grants like those supporting GM and POSCO's cathode plant in Quebec. This facility is key to GM's goal of producing 1 million EVs annually in North America. It underscores Canada's lead while U.S. plants in Michigan and Ohio face potential closures or downsizing amid tariff and labor uncertainties. Canada ticks every corporate box: low-cost hydropower, skilled workers, quick approvals, and consistent EV policies. That's why Tesla and Ford are channeling next-gen manufacturing through Canada, not out of preference, but necessity. In the Rust Belt, workers aren't just losing jobs, they're being cut off from entire supply chains. Towns built on steel and autos are fading, with jobs disappearing and no clear recovery plan. Every American product made in Canada chips away at U.S. industrial identity. Your fridge, truck, or EV battery may no longer embody pure American craftsmanship. The manufacturing strength has quietly shifted north. Ironically, Trump's tariffs, meant to protect U.S. jobs, have acted as a catalyst for companies to move to Canada for cost and stability. reality. The Made in USA label is now more branding than fact. The economy that once powered America's industrial might is facing a harsh reality. The heart of production is now in Canada. President Trump publicly claims his trade policies protect U.S. workers, but some officials are dissenting. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer warned at a July 2025 manufacturing summit in Lansing that the state faces a double hit: global competition and federal tariffs. Source: Detroit Free Press. Even Republican Senator J.D. Vance has questioned why Ontario's EV supply chains thrive while Ohio's factories stagnate. Conservative outlets like Fox Business defend the tariffs as a long-term fix. Yet Ford, GM, and Tesla are quietly seeking exemptions from the U.S. Trade Representative's office. A July Wall Street Journal editorial asked if U.S. trade policy is succeeding, why are American jobs leaving? The White House's silence speaks volumes. Analysts suggest it's not too late, but the cost is steep. A June 2025 Brookings report indicates reshoring key industries could take 5 to 8 years, requiring major subsidies, faster permitting, and a controversial rethink of labor costs. Voters don't want higher prices, and corporations won't sacrifice profits to stay in the U.S. Some Democrats are advocating for a Made Here, Stay Here initiative in the 2025 Jobs and Competitiveness Act, but it stalled in Congress as of August. So, are we ready to redefine domestic manufacturing, or will we accept waving the flag while production slips north? The Made in USA label could mean something again, but only if someone fights for it. Music, when Ford, Coca-Cola, and Tesla are quietly relocating north, is any industry truly safe? Can patriotic slogans keep factories in America when energy costs soar and labor expenses outstrip global competitors? More American products now carry a Canadian imprint, even if it's not on the label. So check your fridge, your garage, or even your soup cans. Have they already crossed the border? Is Made in USA still a commitment, or just a marketing tactic for U.S. brands producing in Canada? Share your thoughts in the comments.